Hey everyone, my name is Project, and welcome back. I'm a little bit sickly today, so you'll have to forgive me, but today we're going to talk about kidney problems, specifically my kidney problems. But before we get into that, in the background I've got two gameplays for you. They're both on Flak Tower, but the first one is Team Deathmatch using the Sten with the Rooted 2 variant. I really like this gun. This is a fantastic gun, and the Rooted variant, like just the skin of the variant and everything, it's beautiful. I love it. It's just a nice, sleek steel, uh, silver with that awesome. I, I love skulls. I don't know if you can tell by the metal music and stuff like that, but I love skulls, and it's just got that skull right there, and I love it. Beautiful. And then the second gameplay is also going to be on Flak Tower, as I said before, but this time it'll be kill confirmed using the MP40. I don't remember the exact variant that it is. I think it's the WWII. It's the really rusty and, let's just be honest, it's the ugly MP40. My least favorite so far that I've seen variant of the MP40, and I think I'm gonna go back and change it. I like rustic looking guns in this game, or just rustic things in general, really old things. But this gun just doesn't cut it for me. It's a little too ugly for me, so I think I'm going to change it. Getting into the topic today, I'm going to start off with a little bit of a story. Back in 2010, I believe it was, 2009 or 2010, I was at my cousin's house, or One Skilled Mofo's house, and I was hanging out with him. My parents had went over there for something. I don't remember what it was. It's been so long ago. But we were there, and I was hanging out with him. We were having a grand old time, and I was playing on his PS3, playing Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots Online, or MGO2 as they had called it back then, which, by the way, I've got fond memories of that, but that's for another time. uh, but I was hanging out with him. I was drinking sweet tea, just guzzling it down, because his mom makes some of the best sweet tea that I've ever had, and I'm just guzzling it down, having a good old time. And then I start to feel a slow creeping pain in my left side, down near my stomach a little bit, and it just starts slowly getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I go over to my parents and I tell them, hey, I've got some pain down here near my stomach. Uh, it's really starting to hurt. And they're like, well, you probably just have an upset stomach. So they offered me some Tums. I took some Tums, and I waited a while, kept on playing Metal Gear Solid, but it's kept getting worse and worse and worse still, and these Tums just were not working. And I'm pretty sure I took some ibuprofen as well, gave it a little while to kick in, and the pain just did not stop. So I went back over to my parents and I said, look, it's not stopping. It really hurts. I'm doubled over in pain at this point, and I'm almost to the point of tears where I'm in just so much pain. And I tell them, look, I need to go to the hospital. I need to go to the hospital now. I'm begging them to take me to the hospital. And just real quick, I have to say this. I'm a 24-year-old man who does construction work, lays asphalt, builds bridges, does manly man stuff, but I am scared to death of needles. Now, with you knowing that, I was begging them, like I said, that I need to go to the hospital. I'm in a lot of pain. Something is clearly wrong. And they said, you know that if we take you, they're going to give you a shot, right? And I looked over at them, and this is when they knew I was serious. I'll never forget it. I looked over at them with tears in my eyes, and I said, I don't care. And at that point, they knew I was being serious. They loaded me up in the van. We were 2 towns away, so it took about 30 minutes to get to the hospital, and it was the longest 30 minutes at that point in my life. It was the longest 30 minutes I think I'd ever experienced in my entire life. I was just in so much pain, doubled over, crying. And I remember we get to the hospital, and I'm climbing the walls. I'm running around the hospital in the ER, begging these people to help me, which, I get it. There's people there who need more help than I do. They're busy. There's processes that they have to go through before they can touch you and stuff like that. But I was just in so much pain that I didn't care. But it seemed like forever. It was probably only like, it might have been like 30 minutes to an hour maybe. They finally come back there and they go to draw my blood, and I'm begging them and I'm pleading with them to help me. And they give me a shot of morphine, and I just remember this cooling sensation going through my body as the pain started to go away. And they load me up in the wheelchair, and I'm getting sleepy, but they're wheeling me back to the x-rays to find out what's going on. And everything starts clicking in my head. I'm like, this is a kidney stone. It has to be a kidney stone. And come to find out, it wasn't. It was a constricted ureter, which is a rare thing. I don't remember what caused it. Um, I'm not even sure that they knew what caused it, but it's probably one of the worst pains I've ever been in up until I got into kidney stones. But before we get into that, let me finish the story. Um, so we go to the hospital the next day, and I remember I remember them telling me that they were gonna have to do surgery, and me being afraid of needles, obviously I'm afraid of surgery as well. It's not my first surgery though. I've broken my hand before I'd had these kidney problems, and I had to be put to sleep so they could work on it. They put a plate and 6 screws in my hand, so I wasn't any stranger to surgery at that time, but I was still afraid of it. But they told me they were gonna have to do surgery, and when they started explaining what they were gonna have to do, I got a little worried. What they were what they were gonna do was they was gonna put a stent um, into my ureter to help the urine flow again, because at this point my kidney's already blown up extremely big. It's bigger than my right one. It still is today, as a matter of fact. But it causes your kidney to grow bigger, and it's just a lot of pain, and it could kill you if you don't get it fixed, which I'm glad I got it fixed just in time. But they wanted to put a stent in. Well, the only way to do that, there's two ways. They tried the first way. They tried taking and going through my um, woo-woo, if you know what I mean. They take that thing and they cram it up in there, try to fix it, and it won't go in. The stent can't be placed in. So they're like, okay, so we're gonna have to do something else. I wake up. I remember when I woke up, I really had to pee. So I'm ready to go pee, right? Well, nobody told me that it was gonna be like peeing razor blades and fire coming out of the tip of your wang. Alright, nobody told me that. I didn't know that. So I get up and I go in there and I'm getting ready to pee, and the next thing I know, I'm screaming bloody murder because there's blood coming out of my woo woo, and it feels like I'm peeing razor blades and fire. But anyway, so they finally it comes time for the second surgery. This time it works. They take a catheter and they put it through my back, and I was awake through the surgery, and this is why I'm extremely scared of surgery now. I'll never forget. It was the most haunting thing that has ever happened to me. They took the catheter tube and they put it through my back into my kidney. Well, I'm awake through this whole thing, and I remember begging them and begging them and begging them for pain medicine to make the pain go away. And one of the nurses finally looks down and she says, I can't give you any more. I've already given you more than what we're legally allowed to give you. If I give you any more, we will lose our jobs. And I don't, you want to talk about scary. But the surgery's finally over. They flip me over on my back onto the next bed so they can wheel me out. And I remember, the last thing I remember in that operating room is looking over in the bed that I was in and finding this big pool of blood that I just came out of. And I remember them wiping me down, and then I passed out. And it was the longest road that I think I've ever been down for recovery. It was painful. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't walk. I couldn't cough. I couldn't sneeze. I couldn't do anything. It just really messed me up. But a couple of years later, I moved in with my girlfriend, now currently my wife, and I worked at a grocery store at the time. And knowing that I had all these kidney problems before, I told them, I'm like, hey, I've got some kidney problems. But anyway, it goes on down the line a little while. I've worked there for a little while. I started getting this pain in my kidney one night because I was working that night shift for that night. And I remember going up to my manager and telling her, hey, I really need to go to the hospital. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm doubled over, tears in my eyes again. I'm in a lot of pain. And they finally let me go. And then I get to the hospital and come to find out I have the kidney stone. But before they can get me back there, because again, there's steps they got to go through. They got to get people taken care of. That's more important than I am. People who are hurting worse than I am, or in a worse situation than I'm in. They got to take care of them first. But I ended up passing it before they could take me back there. And then my second one, it was a couple of years later. Oh no, it was 1 year. I'm sorry, it was 1 year later. I was laying in bed and I remember waking up in a lot of pain, but it wasn't as much pain as it was, before. And uh, I woke up and I just walked to the bathroom and I ended up passing it. I have a third kidney stone that I had as well, but I'm gonna save that for another video. Because it could be pretty much a whole video in itself, so I'll tell you guys about that one day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you can find it in your heart, if you think I deserve it, please hit that subscribe button. It's been Project, guys. You know I love you. Take it easy, and peace.